couple of months ago, we had the privilege of hearing from Mr. Brian Nesvik, who has almost 30 years of experience in fish and game management, in a WWF subcommittee hearing on my bill to delist the greater Yellowstone grizzly bear. He testified that not only has the greater Yellowstone grizzly recovered far beyond the needed threshold, but they've expanded their range far beyond what is considered suitable by the Fish and Wildlife Service itself. From 1990 to 2020, the area of occupied range of the grizzly has increased steadily at a rate of 4% per year. In 1990, only 230 square miles of private lands occurred within the grizzly bear's occupied range, and by 2020, this range expanded to 4,600 square miles of private lands. This range is larger than Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks and the John D. Rockefeller Parkway combined. In his testimony, Mr. Nesvik said that, quote, their expansion in range into unsuitable habitats has created significant challenges for all states and agencies involved due to the ever-increasing rise in human-bear conflicts potential. Director Williams, considering that the greater Yellowstone grizzly population has been fully recovered for over 20 years, and considering the growing threat to property owners, tourists, livestock owners, and recreationalists, will you support our effort to follow the science and finally delist the greater Yellowstone grizzly from the Endangered Species Act? Yes or no?
Woman Hageman, I will look forward to applying the Endangered Species Act.
That's been done. Do you support delisting the grizzly bear?
Congresswoman Hageman, at the moment, we have approved a finding for the state of Wyoming and are undertaking a 12-month review process to address—
That's been done before.
That's required under the law that we do now. And I would add, as the previous director of Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and I was chair of the Interagency Grizzly Bear Committee, I have a tremendous relationship with Mr. Nesvik, have worked with him.
That isn't my question. What I'd really like to get back to is, do you support delisting the grizzly bear?
Congresswoman Hageman, I support delisting the grizzly bear if it is able to meet all 5 factors of the
It already has.
That includes adequate regulatory mechanisms, which Wyoming knows.
Okay, then let's go on to my next question. As we debated my bill to delist the greater Yellowstone grizzly in committee just a few weeks ago, I was surprised to learn that a common objection from the other side of the aisle was their perception of the inadequacy of Wyoming's state management plan. When I responded by describing the success of Wyoming's management of the grizzly at the state level and the fact that we had invested $59 million in protecting the grizzly bear, I wasn't met with any objection because, as it turns out, none of the folks on the other side had read the plan and didn't know what they were objecting to. So my question for you is, Director Williams, what objections, if any, do you have to Wyoming's state management plan?
Congresswoman Hageman, that would be part of this 12-month
Well, do you have any objection to Wyoming's grizzly management plan? I mean, it's been out there for quite some time. It's been available to you. I assume that you've reviewed it. Am I correct or am I incorrect?
You are correct, and there is a piece of the Wyoming management plan which I have discussed with Mr. Nesvik.
What do you object to? What do you object to in the Wyoming grizzly management plan?
Congresswoman Hageman, one of the things we will review as required in the recovery plan for the greater Yellowstone ecosystem is a recalibration issue for which we have been working closely with Wyoming and have a very strong working relationship.
So you don't have anything specific you can point to?
That's part of the reason for a review that's happening right now.
And isn't it true the Fish and Wildlife Service has previously approved the Wyoming grizzly management plan?
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of, Congresswoman Hageman, of whether we approve or disapprove the grizzly bear management plan for the state of Wyoming. But we do work very closely with the state and very much appreciate Wyoming's
When will the 12-month review be finished?
We are working on that, and I don't have a date certain.
Well, you have to have a date certain, so then has it not started yet?
It has started, yes.
So then what would be 12 months from the date that it started?
Congresswoman Hageman, it's called a 12-month review.
Oh, but you don't meet the 12-month requirements of the act. Is that your testimony?
Congresswoman Higman, I did not say that. And it could be shorter or it could be longer to get this done correctly. The point that I care about coming from Montana and along with you and Mr. Nesbitt is that we get this right and that we have a defensible
My
rule
time
going
has
forward.
expired, but thank you.